My name's Layla and today I'll be presenting the research that I found from my idents. I'm working for Channel 4 in the digital marketing team and I've been allocated the project of creating a stop motion ident for the company of Channel 4. There are several elements to the ident that have to be done throughout, which include stop motion based on British food and the British seasons. As you can see behind, these are the different sweet themes that I've chosen. The first one is circles, the second is the melting theme, and the third is breakfast foods. I have chosen to use these ideas for my idents as I feel they are the most relevant to the brief, and I also feel they show a good understanding of the seasons and will allow the audience to relate to the idents. When conducting my focus groups, in the first one I found that they understood what an ident was but didn't pay much attention to them when they were being shown on TV. This was primarily because they didn't think that they were as interesting and eye-catching. Both Ruby and Bartek said to make them watch the idents more and pay attention to them, they would like to see more things that are in everyday life. When asking what they expect to see when an ident comes on, I receive both very different answers, whereas Bartek expects to see more informative information, such as the channel's logo and information about the programmes that will be shown after the ident has finished playing, whereas Ruby expected to see more simplistic approach to the ident. When showing the first focus group my ident ideas, they found that they were informative and they gave the necessary information across to the audience. They also understood that the sweet themes were for each ident and the idents had to be foods and the seasons. They both said that they found all of the idents entertaining, but some more than others, and that they may not pay attention to the ones that they didn't find interesting. This focus group also gave different examples of idents that are shown on different channels that they watch. Although in the first focus group, their answers were similar to the question of what foods they associate with spring, summer, autumn and winter. Although Ruby gave her answer in a drink form instead of foods, they were similar to Bartek's answers. When asking the question of if they found idents entertaining, Bartek said that personally for him, they weren't, but gave the message across, whereas Ruby said that she'd watch them actively. From the information found in the focus group, I will use it to allow me to make the correct improvements to my idents to reach the demographics and allow the company Channel 4 to become a more broad and reach out to a wider audience. In the second focus group, I found that from the question of when watching TV, do you pay attention to idents that are shown? Everyone in the focus group said no, but they are aware that they exist and are shown on TV, and that after me explaining to them what they are, they've understood them. When asking what they expect to see and hear from an ident, there were various answers which include bright colours, music, and talking about the information of the programme that is going to be shown next or later on in the evening, and also that they give a clear understanding as to which channel you are watching. I got very different answers when I asked each member of the focus group which ident sweet theme they liked the most, as each person said one, such as Sarah said that she liked the melting sweet theme, Anna said that she liked the breakfast sweet theme, and Ange said that her favourite one was the circle theme. The reason as to why I think I got a variation of answers was because of the type of people that they are and the things that they do in their daily lives. The feedback as to whether they are informative and entertaining was very positive, and they all said that they found them entertaining. Again, like in the first focus group, Ange gave her answer to the question of what foods do you associate with each seasons in drink form, and were similar answers to Bartek, but they were alcoholic drinks. For Anna answers, she gave a variation of answers such as eggs for spring, salads and barbecues for summer, chili for autumn, and comfort foods for winter. These were very similar to Sarah's answers as well. The answer for the final question of what programmes you expect to see on Channel 4 were very similar, although Ange gave her answer as that she expected to see the Great British Bake Off, which is the main reason why she watches Channel 4, as it has now moved from the BBC over to Channel 4. Anna and Sarah both expected to mainly see documentaries and comedies. For the focus group conclusion, by gathering all of the research from my focus group, it allows me to see their reactions in first hand. This will let me make the judgment about how they feel about the idents. From this, I gathered the information I needed to make the correct changes to my idents, and also to see how the public react and interact with them. All of this information that has been gathered from the focus groups will then be used in further planning of post-production and making the ident. When asking the questions in the questionnaire, the first question was, which channels do you prefer? As you can see behind, there is a pie chart which gives you a variation of the answers. From the information given, you can see that the BBC had the most votes from their idents, giving nearly half of the votes. From the question of when watching an ident, what do you expect to see? From asking this question, I found a variety of answers, such as the most popular answer, that they would expect to see a logo as a definite must, and also bright bold colours to grab the audience's attention, and to also incorporate music into the ident to keep the audience engaged. Some of the other key factors to what the audience expect to see and hear when watching the ident of TV is relative information about the programmes that are going to be shown after the ident has finished showing. They also expect to see the channel's ideology represented through the idents and shown on the channel. When the question I next asked was the age. From the bar chart you can see that the largest group was 16 to 20-year-olds. This was because of the people that I asked that were mainly in the media class. As you can see, there was no ages between 21 to 30 and 50 plus. Although the research shows some variation in ages, this allows us to understand that each age demographic expects to see when an ident is being shown on TV. By collecting information about each gender, it allows age demographics to be shown in variation in the types of people you are reaching out to as a target audience. When asking the question of which social class you are in, this information varies from different social classes, and it allows us to understand what certain people want who are part of different social class groups, and also when they like to see what they like to see and prefer to see when watching certain channels in their idents. I also asked the question of, do you have Sky? From the pie chart to the right of the screen you can see that just over half people have Sky. This information is useful as it allows us to know that the people who have Sky are more likely to watch a bigger variation of channels and the types of programmes that are shown through these channels than other institutions, although some of the channels are also shown on Freeview. When asking the question of what channels do you prefer, there was a wide variation of answers. From this you can clearly see that the BBC is the most favoured channel to watch, with E4 coming second. The main reason for the BBC being the favoured channel were that people who filled out the questionnaire said they enjoyed the dramas that were shown. Although E4 is second, when the questionnaires were being filled out, there was no reason given as to why this is their preferred channel. All of the other programmes that only got one vote were people's preferred channels because of the types of programmes that are shown. When asking what time of day the people who filled out the questionnaire watched TV, there was a variation of answers, but the main two were in the evening and at night. From this information we can then establish when the best time of day is to air the most popular programmes that certain ages, genders and people of certain social classes like the most. By doing this, it allows our channel and institution to get higher viewing rates. The feedback from the idents were very different. From the information given, you can clearly see that the Sweet Theme 2 is the most preferred ident theme, and the feedback that was given is that they thought the seasons are the most realistic, and also it will allow the audience to relate to the idents. It also said that they like the way the Channel 4 logo is revealed, although when I came to the people who were filling out the questionnaires to give improvements, the one that stuck out the most was the fact that in Sweet Theme 2 for the season of winter, it is not food related. Because of this information given, the ident for the season of winter will be changed. As you can see behind, this is the new idea for the ident of winter. The changes that I've made is so that the ident for the season is now Christmas themed, and it is a Christmas pudding that will reveal the Channel 4 logo. Because of the limitations to the time and money, if there was more, I would have been able to carry out more market research on this new ident that required changes due to the ident not fitting the brief. If I was able to carry out more research on this ident, I could gather relevant information as to whether the audience of Channel 4 like the new idea and their opinion on it. When I was conducting secondary research about the previous idents that Channel 4 have made, I found that sweet themes have been used throughout the idents and have worked very well, and also that the audience relate to them. This also allows the audience to create brand loyalty with Channel 4 between the institution and the demographic audience. I also found within the research that because of this brand loyalty, it allowed the audience to understand Channel 4's ideology. By creating these new idents, this is the main goal that I want to achieve, to have the audience relate and connect with the idents that are shown on the channel. From carrying out this secondary research, I can see what changes I need to make to my initial ideas. It also allows me to not make any mistakes that have already been made, or create the same ideas again. This also saves a lot of time and money. All of the research that I've carried out, including primary and secondary, has helped a great deal, not by just allowing me to finalise it down to one sweet theme, but also to understand the true purpose of all types of research needed to be carried out to establish what the audience want to see and how Channel 4 as an institution can make that happen. Although when conducting the research I found some patterns within the questionnaire, such as some questions not being answered correctly. As you can see behind, this is the final idea for my idents, which is Sweet Theme 2 with the new improvements to the season of winter.
Excellent, well done, amazing presentation that, Layla, well done. What did you find most challenging when conducting and then evaluating your results? What was the hardest part?
The fact that not many people answered the questions not correctly, but not fully, and it didn't allow me to understand what they actually meant.
Right, okay, so kind of following up on those results is quite challenging. And what do you think you'd be able to do differently, or if you had more time, or you could have the money to reach a wider audience, what do you think you would do that would kind of prevent those issues if you were to do it again?
So, like, if I could do it again, I'd ask more people, different people of ages and genders, which would then allow me to get better research and make the idea more appropriate to them.
Excellent, great stuff.